Well, it's noon here in Lagos, Nigeria's commercial capital. Hello and welcome to Lunchtime Politics. I'm Coyote Okikulu. Well, here are the big political stories we have for you on the show today. Federal government resumes prosecution of Boko Haram detainees in Kainji, and that's according to the National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu, as President Tinubu hosts African leaders and multilaterals on solutions to terrorism in Nigeria and Africa. Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa of Ondo State picks the APC governorship ticket amidst protest over alleged irregularities in the poll conducted across 203 wards. Winner thanks President Tinubu and extends the olive branch to others who lost out. And barely hours after the APC primary, an aspirant in the election and former Ondo Commissioner of Finance, Mr. Wale Aiyedatiwa, is reportedly invited by the EFCC, that's the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, in connection with his tenure in government, but his aides deny the report, saying it is untrue. Well, let's get started in the nation's capital, Abuja. We'll begin with news just in. Nigeria has resumed the prosecution of all Boko Haram detainees in Kainji. Well, that's according to the National Security Advisor, Mr. Nuhu Ribadu, who was speaking at the African Counterterrorism Summit in the nation's capital. Well, he says Nigeria is also gathering intelligence on the activities of Boko Haram and ISWAP with a view to tackling the groups head-on. The event, which is being declared open by President Bola Tinubu, also has in attendance the President of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo, and the President of Togo, Faure Gnassingbé, as well as representatives of other countries and bilaterals, as well as over 400 delegates from across the African continent. In her speech, the United Nations Deputy Secretary General, Mrs. Amina Mohammed, says that achieving the SDGs in Africa is off track as a result of security threats. She says the root causes of terrorism, such as poverty, youth unemployment, and gender inequality, among others, must be tackled. She calls on leaders to rebuild their social contract by ensuring people-oriented police. Well, it's an ongoing event, and we'll be bringing you more details and development from that. But let's talk about governance here in Nigeria, particularly politics. It was a busy weekend in Ondo State, southwest Nigeria, where the ruling All Progressives Congress APC held its primary election to choose its flag bearer in the November governorship election. And it turns out that Ondo State Governor Mr. Lucky Aiyedatiwa has been declared a winner of the APC primary. Mr. Aiyedatiwa was declared winner by Kogi State Governor Usman Ododo, who's chairman of Election Organizing Committee, and he declared Mr. Aiyedatiwa as a winner of the party's primary in the early hours of today. According to the results announced by Governor Ododo, Governor Aiyedatiwa secured 48,569 votes to defeat his closest challengers, Mayowa Akinfolari, who scored 15,343 votes, and Olushola Oke, who polled 14,915 votes.
The waiting is finally over as party faithful gather at the Dome Hall after the rescheduled election at the Okitipupa local government. The arrival of the committee chairman signals the beginning of the long-awaited exercise, and it goes straight to business.
At the end of the voting exercise, votes were counted and recorded at the ward and transmitted to local government areas coalition centers.
Midway into the exercise, however, the returning officer of Ifedore local government area says there were no elections in the local government.
Having been mandated by the committee to go to the local government, we went, the entire wards, to try to coordinate around the entire wards. We couldn't find any human being in the ward, as everybody has taken shelter in their different homes. We also saw that there was a deployment of armed policemen already before our arrival as a result of the violence. So what I have, the total registered voters in that area is 9940. But here I entered 000 for all the candidates.
The announcement of the results then continued for the remaining 17 local government areas. The incumbent governor was announced as the winner of the exercise.
Francis A. Faduile, 353. Ifeoluwa O. Oyedele, 462. Lucky O. Aiyedatiwa, 48,569. By the power conferred on the committee and in line with the APC guidelines for the nomination of candidates of the party in the general election, I, Ahmed Usman Ododo, hereby declare that Lucky Orimisan Aiyedatiwa, having satisfied the requirement of the law and scored the highest number of lawful votes cast in the direct primary election conducted on the 20th day of April 2024 in Ondo State, is hereby returned elected, and he is declared the winner of the Ondo State APC governorship primary election.
As part of the party guidelines for the ratification and affirmation of the result, 5 executive members from each of the wards affirmed his victory, while the APC governorship candidate expresses appreciation to the party members for the confidence reposed in him.
The greatness of Ondo State is what matters at this moment. I understand that I must leave no stone unturned in order to cement the trust you have graciously bequeathed on me. I therefore request that we all join hands together in building the future that we all yearn for in Ondo State.
He also called on other contestants to rally round him and work together for the victory of the party in the November governorship election.
Meanwhile, there are reports that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has invited the APC governorship aspirant, Mr. Wale Akinterewa, in connection with investigation of his tenure as Commissioner for Finance in former Akeredolu administration. However, when Channels Television reached out to one of his aides, this invite was described as untrue. Now, we continue to, of course, follow that to bring you more updates. In the meantime, some members of the APC in Akure, the Ondo State capital, took to the streets to protest what they termed irregularities and biased conduct of the ward primaries across the state on Saturday. The protesters stormed the APC secretariat in Akure to display their displeasure to the alleged irregularities in the conduct of the primaries across 203 wards of the state. The protesters called for the cancellation of the primaries. And most of them are supporters of one of the aspirants, Mr. Olushola Oke, and they carried different placards calling on the National Secretariat to remove the chairman of the Primary Election Committee and Kogi State Governor, Mr. Usman Ododo.
It was a broad daylight robbery, a monumental disaster. APC sent some delegates here to conduct a primary election. Apparently that was never done. They remained in Akure here at a hotel and started writing results. They wrote the result of 203 wards all across Ondo State, writing the mandate, taking the mandate of the people into their own hands. At the end of the day, we started seeing different results flying around, stating one particular candidate won the election. And that never happened.
In the whole of 203 wards in Ondo State, there was no election at all. there was a guideline of what to do during the election, membership register, electoral officers, member being accredited, none of them. No electoral officer, no membership card, no membership register. In all the 203 wards, no accreditation. No whatsoever, no at all. At all. Okay. Not that they manipulated result. No accreditation, no election anywhere. The electoral material will be distributed early in the morning. Our people were already there by 6 in the morning. Yes. And they were there till around 10. Nothing was demonstrated. When the governor of Kogi State, Ododo, came out to talk to them, he said the electoral material has been distributed. When? How? To who? To who? How? You said it at night, in the morning you said it has been said. To who? When? Who signed for it? It's very unbelievable.
We'll continue to follow the happenings in Ondo State, and again, just to bring to you that there have been reports that one of the aspirants, Mr. Wale Akintola, was invited by the EFCC, but Channels Television has reached out to his media office, and they've described those reports as untrue, that he was invited or detained by the EFCC, and that's the latest update we have on that particular report, which has been making the rounds about purported invite and detention of one of the aspirants, Mr. Wale Akintola. Well, we'll take a moment now on the show, and when we return, we'll dig deeper into the primary just conducted in Ondo State, and also bring you some other reports from the opposition People's Democratic Party at the national level. They are also trying to put their house in order and, of course, get some sort of leadership in place. That's in a moment. Stay with us. The developments in Ondo State, it was quite a busy weekend, politically speaking, and all of the activities are geared towards the coming governorship election in the state come November. The governor of the state, Mr. Aiyedatiwa, has been declared as the APC flag bearer following the primary that held, but that didn't come without protests from other aspirants. You just saw some of the supporters of one of the aspirants, Mr. Oke, actually protesting against the outcome of the election. Now, while we, of course, be bringing you more talking points from that, let's talk about what's happening at the national level. We understand that the first phase of the presidential compressed natural gas initiative will be delivered before the end of this year, with 600 buses targeted. Special Advisor on Information Strategy to the President, Mr. Bayo Ononuga, disclosed this in a statement, saying the first set of 200 buses will be delivered before the first anniversary of President Bola Tinubu's administration on May the 29th. He also notes that 100 conversion workshops and 60 refueling sites spread across 18 states will also be ready before the end of the year. He added that the first set of critical assets for deployment and launch of the CNG initiative will be delivered before May the 29th. Now, under this initiative, the federal government targets to get at least 1 million natural gas-propelled vehicles on the roads by 2027. Now, he says that while the government has provided 100 billion naira for the initiative, the private sector has responded with over $50 million in actual investments. So that's what's happening at the national level. Let's come back to sub-national politics. As we said earlier on, there had been reports that Mr. Wale Akintola, one of the aspirants in that primary, the governorship primary in Ondo State, was invited by the EFCC, but Channels Television reached out to his media office and they denied the invite or the arrest of Mr. Wale Akintola, who participated in the primary over the weekend. It's a developing story, and we'll bring you more updates. But the media office has denied such arrest or invite of Mr. Wale Akintola, one of the aspirants in that primary election. But let's get you some more insights into the primary over the weekend. We're joined on the program by Dr. Akintola. He's an APC leader in Ondo State, joins us from the state capital. Welcome to Lunchtime Politics, Dr. Akintola.
Thank you, my brother.
Well, it's been quite some controversial primary we saw over the weekend. In fact, the PDP in Ondo State had literally talked down that process, saying that Nigerians should wait till it conducts its own primaries for them to see what a primary should look like. So much controversy. Some of the protesters even asking the governor of Kogi State, Governor Ododo, to step down as the head of that primary election. And I wonder how you respond to that, because if the process is this cantankerous and debatable, you wonder what that will do to the candidature of Governor Aiyedatiwa.
Well, thank you, my brother. Let me first of all congratulate our party members that came out massively to vote for all the aspirants. On the PDP issue, I have no answer to them, because how can you be crying more than the bereaved? We let them conduct their own primary and let us say it's going to be more free and freer than our own. And to me, I normally tell people that the issue of politicking is beyond social media paparazzi. Let us go to the field and know the master of the game. To me, I don't even see any PDP members in Ondo State, because 90% of them, they are already with us. So the remaining remnants that we see today, they are just, when somebody is about to be put into a pit, we see struggle. So what I see in them is like they are struggling. But let us give it to them. I think we need an opposition, so that it won't stand well for us to just go by November and without any opposition, and we just declare His Excellency Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa as the winner of the race, because I see that one coming. So let's give it to them. They are not even in existence. Back to my party members that, like you said, that they are protesting. Well, I don't agree that I protest. Let me be sincere with you, because in APC, most especially, we are progressive. And our constitution is very clear. 3 ways in which a candidate can emerge: direct, indirect, and consensus. So if there is a consensus candidate, will they say no? If there is an indirect, even though if you today, as a media person, if you are around to be the one to conduct that primary, you always see somebody that will say, I will not agree. But if, even though you are the one that's even contested, and eventually you won, they'll see protest. So we expect that one in politics. To me, that's part of the game. And as for the other aspirants that contested, fantastically they did well. And I congratulate them. Because as of today, we have the best aspirants in the political circle of Ondo State. If you want to talk in our party, in some of the aspirants, we have a professor, we have a PhD holders, we have a degree holders, we have double masters holders, we have also. Let PDP that are talking, let them show us just one person that can compete with any of these people. So if they now have a person, financial guru, who is very prudent, who now a mind, I doubt if anyone. We've checked very well.
Dr. Akinsanya, right, but the bone of contention, at least for one of the parties involved in this, one of the aspirants and supporters, is that they describe this as daylight robbery. And this is what they say. They say it's a monumental disaster, that the APC, your party, actually delegated some people to Odo to conduct the primary, but they believe that that was never done, as those people remained in Akure and started writing results. And this is coming from the Director General of the Olushola Oke Campaign Organization. What do you have to say to that? Dr. Akinsanya, please unmute. Looks like you have muted your device. Kindly unmute so we can hear you. Dr. Akinsanya, if you can hear me, we can't hear you. Appears you have muted your device. So please unmute so we can get all of the things you're saying. But I was essentially putting that question to you from some of the supporters of one of the aspirants. And they said that the people who were sent to come conduct election actually just sat in the state capital and wrote results. Now, those are major allegations coming from the, I call it the opposition within the party. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Number one, there are technicalities behind direct primaries. It's different from indirect. Indirect, we're expecting 3,009 delegates, whereby you can take them to a kitchen, give them 1 million, 10 million, and 3 million. But on those states, it's beyond that now. We want a governor of the people, by the people, and for the people. And what do we get that? What do we get that one through direct primary? If somebody says some people start in Apure and they were writing something, I don't know the people because I'm from our local government. Those people came to my ward, we voted, we lined up, they counted us, and they wrote the results in my presence. And after that, we went throughout the other 11 wards in our. We were able to see the numbers of people that voted. So if somebody is not saying that they sat in Apure, maybe it's your person that sat in Apure who didn't go to his own local government. I'm sure this change you are talking about is not from Apure. So if we ask him first, did he visit his own local government? But if you are to be in his own local government, you're not saying that somebody is in Apure writing results. Somebody that traveled to Ilaje who had to enter boat, like what the governor did. We leave his way at that Ilaje there, and we're talking about somebody that wrote something in Apure. To me, I wasn't in Apure at that particular time, so there's no right. I could have known. But what I saw and what I witnessed and what I did was that I was in a war where I come from to vote like another person. So,
but the challenge here, right? Pardon me. The challenge now is, politically speaking, naturally, the more the merrier. Politics is a game of numbers. So the governor will need as much people on his team to win that election, if he would win that election. So you have the bloc that's sort of, they are aligned with, well, the former governor, now late, and they seem to say, well, this is not the person that he wanted to succeed him. Again, that is debatable, but it is word out there. So you have that camp, and they are saying, no, you're not the one that is meant to succeed the late former governor now. So you have that camp. And obviously, they're at loggerheads with Governor Aiyedatiwa. You have the Olushola Oke camp as well. And it looks like all of the strength of the APC is split across board. And you know politics too well. This may be an opportunity for the opposition to just capitalize on it. So what do you say to all of these divisions, which some people say is needless and will not do your party any good in the coming election?
Thank you once again, my brother. In politics, you expect all these kind of things. But then before the go ask people that are talking about the late governor and does this and that. Stop. I'm not a baby in politics. This same late man may so continue to rest in perfect peace. I ran against him 3 times. Heaven did not fall. And when it's time for the general election, I supported him. We are progressive. If they are coming from the other side, I don't know about that. When the time comes, all of us, we are going to sit together and we are going to work together. See, for you to be out of governance for 1 day in a state, let them go and ask them at touch now. Can any one of them say they want to go and work, go to and see Adeleke now? They don't want to enter the government the way they like. You can't. And moreover, our party, they have a machinery for reconciliation in which we have started already. Because the party, there are layers in our party. The one that conducted election, the one that vet election, the one that did the election to the electoral college for ratification, the one that will now do reconciliation, the one that will now call everybody to okay, what are the things that we're expecting? And as for other people that were talking about Olushola Oke, he's a great brother that I respect a lot. He's a guru in terms of mobilization and all that. So the point is not like that. If he has all this, don't forget that he has a background, which is a PDP. So the way they do at that table, and those who have said they are protesting now, you make me to mention it, because I don't want to mention anybody, but I'm constrained to mention them. If we look at Olushola Oke, where is his background? PDP. If we look at my brother, Jim Ibrahim, his background, PDP. And those are used to indirect primary, whereby money exchanges. But in the APC, progressive, first of all, like I told you, I said we have 3 ways for our candidate to emerge, either through consensus, direct primary, or indirect primary. The consensus have to be with the leadership of the party. They can sit down and say, okay, Mr. A, you are the one to go and be the governor at social place. All of us will agree because it's already in our constitution. If they can say, okay, direct primary, all of you go and line up, which what we did yesterday or 2 days ago, we not lined up, they counted us, and somebody emerged. Now let me ask some question. Those people that said they have camps and this and that, where were they when everybody traveled to use our own local government to go and vote. Some of them sat in Akure. Some of them were going through the social media, sometimes be calculating with permutations. But it's not like that. It's a matter of grassroots. Go home. That's why if you look at our constitution is so unique that the leadership of our party lies on the ward chairman, not even the president.
Well,
let them go and read our constitution very well. You don't go to business that don't understand at all.
Well, it's quite interesting, Dr. Akinsayewa, and I should say that it's refreshing to also hear that you've had your own fair share of experience trying to run for this position. So, I mean, you bring to bear a lot of experience in all of this. But we wait and see, because we're meant to have one of the representatives from the other aspirant on the show. But of course, this is a developing situation, and we'll keep following to see how things play out eventually. Don't forget that the opposition PDP is watching. But we'd like to thank you so much, Dr. Akinsayewa, APC leader in Ondo State. Thank you so much for your time. He joins us live from Akure, the state capital.
Thank you. I very appreciate you. And God bless.
Well, there you have it. It's quite a number of things going on, both at the subnational and at the federal level. But trust us to bring you up to speed with all of the happenings. But that's Lunchtime Politics for this edition. We're back tomorrow with more political stories. But stay with Channels Television for all the breaking news today. As always, I'm Aiyedatiwa. Goodbye.